their job, respect the institution in which they served. Imagine that it would be vandalized in so many bad ways that I won't even go into here, and that they would not respect their institution. That the president of the Senate, Mike Pence, hang Mike Pence, was the chant, and they just dismissed that. Why? Because maybe they can't get another job. We censure people for using stationery for the wrong purpose. We don't censure people for inciting insurrection that kills people in the Capitol.
That's a good answer. You're here.
Yeah. It's nuts. That was actually a good take by Nancy Pelosi. Like, surprisingly so. It is insane. Hold on. Wish they were as passionate about that when it comes to the stimulus bill, LMAO. I mean, I think they're doing a decent job with pushing for the stimulus bill currently as it stands, so I don't know what else. At least Trump can now run again with a split Republican vote for a guaranteed Dem win. Dude, you're so fucking stupid if you think that the Republican vote is split. Okay? Donald Trump runs again, he wins again. I don't even know if he will run again. Like, that's the bargain. That's the gamble that the Democrats are engaging in right now. Schumer fucked it all up. The House impeachment managers wanted to put people on the stand and didn't care how long it took. Pelosi saw the danger this president set. And I wish the Senate Dems did too, but they cared more about their fucking recess this week. Senate can walk and chew gum at the same time and could have worked around the GOP blockage. I don't know. I think that they wouldn't have been able to work around the GOP blockage. And then we would be yelling at the fucking Senate Democrats for continuing on with this bullshit impeachment when we know that the Republicans are not going to fucking bend regardless. And now the stimmy is being held up. But the fact that they went on recess is so psychotic to me. Like, if you are cutting this short, if you're cutting this process short and not going forward with witnesses, right? Because you didn't want to call the bluff of the Republicans in that situation. Thank you, Don't Be a Tease, for the 20 tier 1 gift subs. If you didn't want to call Republicans bluff and you actually didn't want to sit there for, days on end, listening to witness after witness after witness after witness, and the Republicans were going to very clearly use that as a reason to prolong this process and then simultaneously use the prolonged impeachment process to say, look, the Democrats are fucking failures and they're losers. They can't even get you the, we finally have a bill, a COVID bill that we want to give to the people, and they're preventing you from getting it because they're so horny for impeaching Donald Trump, a person who's no longer president. That is a bargain. That is absolutely something that Democrats were thinking about in that situation. I'm sorry, but you have no idea how this works. The Senate would have had to vote for every witness they wanted to introduce, and each side would have been limited to the same amount of witnesses. The idea that it was because they did 310 witnesses is so dumb. No, of course they weren't going to have 310 witnesses, but they were still going to have a week-long, if not month-long process. There are ways that you can fucking delay the process as best as you can. And if that happened, that would delay the other side of the argument, which is the stimulus checks. Now, you can turn around and say the stimulus checks are not going to be coming anytime soon anyway, regardless. But ultimately, as the Iron Bun also points out, no amount of witnesses would have gotten 10 more Republican senators to support the impeachment. That was just not going to happen. The underappreciated maybe opportunity cost of not forcing witnesses is that Dems gave up an opportunity to throw a bomb in both chambers GOP caucuses. After the vote on evidence, Mitt Romney almost got in a fight with Ron Johnson on the floor, according to reporters. Think of how nuts it would have got if Herrera Butler had gone up and testified. Yeah, I think that if the goal was to, and Kevin McCarthy too, if your goal is to drop a bomb within the Republican Party, then getting actual fucking Republicans to speak out against Donald Trump and then have them still acquit Donald Trump of all the wrongdoings that led to the insurrection on January 6th is maximizing the potential damage that you're causing within the Republican Party. And they didn't want to do that. You wouldn't get a person to testify, though. You only get recorded series of messages. Am I right or wrong? Under oath doesn't mean shit, by the way, chat. Don't be ridiculous. And by the way, no one was trying to... Yes, I don't think that they were trying to convince the Senate GOP to vote. This was more about this was completely about what it was going to look like. This was more about what it was going to look like for the Senate Democrats. Ultimately, they should have had witnesses. They should have continued with the trial, had witnesses, and tried to limit it as best as possible. Because this argument isn't about winning over Republicans, but it's about winning over the American people. Okay? It's about winning over as many people, as many of the American people as possible to get them to see the reality of what had happened. M's with the double standards. They can incite violence and unrest, but when Trump says go protest, they decide to put the fault on him. Weirdos. I don't understand what you're saying. If you're saying that the Democrats are responsible for Black Lives Matter protests, then you're literally saying that the January 6th insurrection is directly Donald Trump's fault. Like, what is this double standard argument that you're making? That bullshit. They did it so we can do it too. Kindergarten. Okay, but that comes with a fucking admission. You understand that, right? If one side is on trial and their argument is, well, the other side did it too, but the other side is not on trial, it doesn't fucking matter. You're basically admitting the thing that you're on trial for. And your defense shouldn't be, well, the other side did it too. Your defense should be that we didn't do anything. Not that, like, not for you to literally admit what you did and then say the other side did it too. That's not a fucking argument. Like, you can't use that as a defense. But as we saw, it didn't matter. You could have literal ambulance chasers defend you in the impeachment trial and still win, because Republicans are fucking demons anyway. They don't have any like moral conviction or anything like that. The problem with that argument is that both sides then should be held accountable. Dog, the court case is about an entirely separate thing, though. Or the impeachment is about an entirely separate thing. You can fucking talk about Madonna and Johnny Depp all you fucking want, okay? But Madonna and Johnny Depp aren't on trial right now. There is no like, oh, well, I don't care, both sides. Like, there is no, you can't do that. There is no both sides, Your Honor, in this circumstance or in any circumstance. It doesn't hold up in any fucking court of law, you dumb fuck. What? Like, can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? Yeah, I know I fucking murdered people, but so did other people. Why are they not getting convicted for it? Oh, okay. Never mind then. All right, I guess we have to let you go. We never... Fuck, man. We really hadn't considered this part of the argument. Fuck. Shit, dude. I'm so confused as to what to do, dude. Literally never convict anyone for crimes ever again, because there are people who have gotten away with it. You're right. I can't even fucking do that in Grand Theft Auto role-playing court. And here you are advocating for the National Republican Party to legitimately put that forward as an argument. Hassan learning for the first time that the arguments from brainless GOP cultists are not based in sound logic. Yeah, this is the first time I found that out. Thanks. And it somehow worked. It didn't work. It doesn't. It didn't have nothing. They could have said nothing and they still would have gotten away with it. Actually, if they said nothing, it probably would have been better than the fucking horrible demonstration that they put forward. And the only reason why they got away with it is because Republicans are partisan hacks, so are Democrats for the most part. Also, when you say that like Black Lives Matter protests were not caused by a legitimate grievance that they had experienced, and instead because Nancy Pelosi wore a fucking kente cloth and kneeled after George Floyd was executed on the streets, you are probably the most psychopathic person I've ever encountered in my entire life. Like, you really think that fucking, you know, black people in fucking Minnesota were angry because, you know, Nancy Pelosi agitated them to the degree where they were like, yeah, we got to do something because Nancy Pelosi, our girl Nancy, she fucking wore the kente cloth and kneeled at the Capitol. So that's why we have to do this now. Like, that's the same thing as Donald Trump literally routinely saying, like, January 6th, it's going to be a big deal. We're going to stop Mike Pence. It's going to be a big deal. You got to go on January 6th. Wait for January 6th. That's the same, dude, in your mind?
President Trump gets acquitted by...
Okay, I can't watch this. Just give me the fucking... Oh, he just talked about it, I guess.
the Senate, despite 7 Republicans voting in favor of conviction. The Biden administration is openly screwing with the science on COVID just to please my extremely wise listeners, have made the switch January 6th. And you got to love the loaded language there from ABC News. Former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial came to a climactic end on Saturday afternoon, with Trump being acquitted for his alleged role in inciting the deadly event. A majority of senators voted to convict, but failed to reach the supermajority threshold needed for conviction. Trump said in a statement, "This has been yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No president has ever gone through anything like it. It continues because our opponents cannot forget the almost 75 million people, the highest number ever for a sitting president, who voted for us just a few short months ago." He's not totally wrong about this particular fact. The reality is that since he was elected in 2016, there were many, many people who simply could not accept the fact that Trump was president. And then there were a lot of people who were so upset that 75 million Americans voted for him in November that they attempted to essentially lump in all of those people with the Capitol rioters. I've been saying this since the day it happened. It was pretty obvious that the left-wing and media agenda here was to lump everybody in together with the people who committed actual criminal and evil acts on January 6th. President Trump said, "Our historic, patriotic, beautiful movement to make America great again has only just..."
I totally forgot, by the way. I was triggered in a fucking stun lock, but it's top of the hour every hour. Time for a 6-second ad break. You already know what the deal is. If you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Here it is. Here's the ad now.
Just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you. I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. There has never been anything like it. Drama ensued on the Senate floor on Saturday morning when senators voted to hear from witnesses.
Can you please explain the Johnny Depp reference? I'm so confused. I was under the impression that he's the victim. What? Dog, they used the fucking image of Johnny Depp in the impeachment as a counter argument, saying that like Democratic leaders, including Johnny Depp and Madonna, had said violent things as well. Should they also be, I guess, impeached? That was the argument. It was so fucking stupid. It has nothing to do with like Johnny Depp being a victim to Amber Heard's domestic abuse or anything like that. Okay.
So here's the reality here. The reality is that Democrats made it kind of easy on Republicans. I should be frank about this. Democrats blew this one. The reason that they blew this one...
I can't even get mad at you for that, though, because that's how fucking stupid the Republican counter-argument was. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, Johnny Depp? No, they actually used footage of Johnny Depp and Madonna, along with, like, Maxine Waters and shit, to say, like, well, Democrats use violent rhetoric all the time. So, yeah. That's what was going on. It completely unrelated. That's how unfucking related that was to the matter at hand.
Is because they recognized a simple reality. The longer this trial dragged out, the more Americans were going to ask a very easy question. Why are we doing this? Like, really, this is what always happens with impeachments. At the very beginning, there's a fair bit of support for them. And then as they drag on, the polls start to turn against the party that's doing the impeachment. That is particularly true when the person they are attempting to impeach and convict has been out of office for months. Because Democrats did not want to call witnesses. They wanted to get this thing done fast. So Democrats made two mistakes here. Like, very early, they made two mistakes. One was they had a snap impeachment in the House. Now, the argument for the snap impeachment in the House was that this happened on January 6th. We'll impeach him by January 10th. We'll get him out of there by January 15th. And then we won't have to worry about the last 5 days, him leading some sort of insurrection. But here's the thing. Democrats didn't believe that. Because if Democrats had actually believed that, then they would have moved fast in the Senate, which they did not. Remember?
Wait, but that wasn't... Oh, I wonder who was at fault there. Was it the Democrats in the Senate that halted the process until after Donald Trump was out of office, or was it fucking Mitch McConnell?
Remember, Nancy Pelosi passed the impeachment in the House with essentially a straight party line vote, 10 Republicans voting in favor. And then instead of transmitting the articles of impeachment to the Senate right away, she waited for like a very long week.
Yes, I'm being actually serious about the Johnny Depp thing. Please stop asking me questions about fucking Johnny Depp, dude. Yes, Republicans are so fucking stupid that they actually put a clip of Johnny Depp in their compilation of Democratic leaders inciting violence, okay, by using violent rhetoric in the fucking Senate impeachment trial. That was the defense. It included Johnny Depp. I am not fucking lying to you. Just look it up yourself, okay? Along with Madonna.
Weekend in order to get it to the Senate. And by that point, it was basically 5 days from the time that Trump was to leave office anyway. So that wasn't enough time for the Senate to actually do its work. So if the idea is we need to get rid of this guy like ASAP right now because he's so dangerous, then she would have transmitted it right away. Which was the explanation for, of course, why they had a snap impeachment in the first place. If, however, the idea here is that you have to punish a president who's no longer in office because we can't let a future president think he can get away with this sort of stuff, well, then you wouldn't have had the snap impeachment, would you? You would have had a full-scale investigation. The House would have done its work. It would have taken months. They would have deposed probably hundreds of witnesses. They would have had to talk to everybody immediately around Trump about his activities that day and immediately before and after. They didn't do any of that. So what that meant is that you ended up with the Democrats basically catching as catch can, which suggests that, again, their strategy here was not really to get a conviction. Their strategy here was almost entirely about painting one side of the political aisle as complicit in January 6th. That's
I'm going to start banning everyone who keeps saying you're lying about Johnny Depp. Videos of Madonna and Johnny Depp shown by Trump's defense and impeachment trial. It follows a congresswoman citing lyrics around the jewels and Jizza arguing that Trump did incite a riot in D.C. Okay? This was the video that they included. Jizza, I don't know how to fucking say it. I don't know why you're like literally just fucking, yeah, just flex your Google muscle, chat. Okay? It's very easy. You just look it up. At first I was being charitable because I thought like, you know, that's such a fucking crazy thing that, you know, I'm sure that people don't believe me because it's so crazy. But I said it over and over again, and you know, there's still people who are like, no, you're wrong. That actually didn't happen. Why are you lying? Well, you know, fuck yourself.
That's really what this was about. Because, again, if it was about snap impeachment, they would have moved faster in the first place. And then, once they got past Trump leaving office, the rationale for the snap impeachment was gone because he was out. Right now would be the time for the full-scale investigation. So what could have happened? Well, the Senate could have called witnesses. And this is what it came down to over the weekend. There was this really, really bizarre situation in which Democrats reversed themselves on witnesses. So what happened is that...
He's right about this. So Democrats originally wanted witnesses, including Donald Trump. And then they conceded to having just one testimony on the record. And then that was it.
There was a Republican congressperson who basically was going to testify that she had talked to Kevin McCarthy, and Kevin McCarthy had talked to Trump, and Kevin McCarthy had told Trump to call off the dogs, and Trump didn't call off the dogs or any of this. And so this came out late on Friday night, early Saturday morning, and the Democrats in the House then voted, you know what, maybe we should call witnesses. And then the Senate Democrats voted, maybe we should call witnesses. And then within an hour, they reversed themselves on Saturday morning and said, you know what, forget it, we're not going to call witnesses, let's just take a vote. According to the Washington Post, The debate among the House impeachment managers raged through the night as the hours and then minutes ticked down early Saturday before what was widely expected to be the final day of former President Donald Trump's Senate trial. After weeks of bending to political pressure to ensure a speeding proceeding, some on the House team wanted to make one final furious push to demand a more intensive investigation, to call witnesses to talk about Trump's behavior before, during, and after the mob attack on the Capitol on January 6th. Right, which again, that is a position that makes sense. If you believe that this was such a grave evil and injustice on the part of Trump, right now, not on the part of the rioters, on the part of Trump, that you required a full-scale 9/11 style commission, well, then you should have done that. And so some of the House impeachment managers were like, okay, well, you know what? I know we're supposed to vote on this thing, but why don't we go ahead and do that? And Senate Democrats initially were like, well, okay. And then they reversed themselves. According to the Washington Post, should they seek to call a Republican lawmaker who is willing to talk about her knowledge of Trump's dismissive comments to the House GOP leader who pled with him during a riot to call off his supporters? Should they call the leader himself, Kevin McCarthy? What about aides to former Vice President Mike Pence, whose dramatic evacuation was caught on security video played for the first time publicly last week? Any of these moves risked extending the proceedings for weeks, but nonetheless, these potential surprise developments consumed the manager.
Ben does make a good point here, as much as I hate to admit it. The Dems didn't put on their proper due diligence, and it makes it seem like they were doing it for political and emotional reasons. Dems are the worst with optics. Yeah. And I think the reason why they did that is because they calculated the risk of continuing this trial, making it less likely for impeachment regardless, even if you do your due diligence. And they weighed that and how much that would be used to obstruct against a obstruct against any sort of action the Senate might potentially take, okay? In regards to the ongoing $1.9 trillion COVID recovery bill. There's no point in due diligence when you're against a bad faith party. No, that's not true. You can still try to make it seem like you care about due diligence. They just wanted something on the record, but I would have liked to see a deeper dive as well. What's the salary for the dude that sticks his hand up Ben's ass and operates him? I don't know. They will obstruct no matter what, though. Exactly. I know that. That's why I don't have a that's why I don't have like a. That's why I said I see both sides of this argument. Okay. I do see both sides of this argument. You can fucking five-head both sides of me all you want, but like I do see it. Because what are they supposed to do? Not fucking impeach? Knowing that, knowing what they know about what Donald Trump has done? And also, if they do impeach, what the fuck are they supposed to do? Are they, if they continue for months on end, then that is a political calculation where there's an opportunity cost there for the $1.9 trillion stimmy package, the COVID recovery bill from getting pushed in a timely manner. But also at the
late into Friday night and in the wee hours on Saturday, according to multiple Democrats with who are familiar with the deliberations. In the end, the managers backed off, allowing the Senate vote to take place as expected, but not before a chaotic back and forth caught senators off guard, sent Trump's legal team into a fury, and exposed long simmering tensions among Democrats over how aggressively to hold the former president accountable. The debate over witness testimony continued to loom large after the vote, as key questions about Trump's actions and motives remained unanswered. See, this was the big problem. There were two big problems with the Democrats' impeachment push. One was the actual impeachment charge, which centered around incitement. Incitement is very difficult to prove. Suggesting that Trump, quote unquote, incited the riot when he said to peacefully and patriotically march down to the Capitol to show displeasure, that is not a particularly convincing argument. Because again, incitement is a pretty high bar. And suggesting that it was incitement to insurrection is a double high bar. Because, again, you have to show, number one, that it was incitement, and number two, that Trump actually wanted an insurrection. Not just people to go and do something criminal. He wanted an insurrection to overthrow the United States government, which, again, there's very little evidence of. So that was problem number one.
Yeah, no, when Donald Trump said that the election is stolen from him over and over again, knowing full well that it wasn't actually fucking stolen, and said, January 6th, a specific day that they had decided was going to be a time when they were doing like regular Senate process to certify the Electoral College votes. Like that wasn't that was just regular protest. Like that's what he wanted to do. Like that's fucking so stupid, dude. It's such a stupid fucking counter. It's not that difficult when all of the evidence is right in front of our eyes. Like it's bullshit.
With all of this, the second problem over all of this is that many of the accusations that were being
Like Ben Shabibo would never be this charitable for anyone else on the fucking planet, okay? Where 5 people have died, okay? Or 5 people have died in the process, and Donald Trump in that circumstance is like watching it on television, watching exactly what we all saw, and saying, "You guys are all very special people. You're very special people." Like, what does that mean, I think? I wonder what that means. I wonder if he recognizes that those are his fucking fans and followers or not when he says, "You guys are very special people."
being made about Trump's behavior were being made second or third hand. It was unnamed staffer inside the White House talking to New York Times.
Yeah, but it isn't enough. People die, but he did not tell to kill them. Wow. I had no idea that if you were to, I don't know, go to the fucking dark web and hire an assassin and you said, you should take care of this person instead of you should literally murder this person, you could use that in a court of law to say, well, Your Honor, I never said literally kill that person. I just said take care of him. Oh, wow, dude. I didn't recognize. Wow, dude, that's such a good fucking. We have so many brilliant impeachment defenders here, dude. We have so many brilliant people. I'm sorry, Your Honor. When I was conspiring to rob a bank, I was just talking about reappropriation. I wasn't actually saying, let's go and literally rob this bank with our guns and make sure that we put the money in the bags. Unless you say that exactly like that, it's open and shut case. You can never actually go to jail.
And the Democrats didn't bother to call witnesses. They just cited the New York Times report. That ain't going to be good enough to support an impeachment effort. Okay, we're going to get to more of this in just 1 second. First, let's talk about the fact is now proposing widespread gun bans. He's talking about an assault, a so-called assault weapon.
Okay. Them have no neutral standard. This shit sucks. I don't care. It was always political.
But again, this was.
Wait, what? Is Ben Shapibo here to tell me that an impeachment is a completely political process? That's crazy. That's absolutely wild that impeachment was always a political process. That's crazy. Political leaders are not moral leaders.
This is what we do with our politicians. We elect these schmucks. Okay, so it's our fault. That's not.
The ridiculous COVID agenda. Okay, we're done. I don't know how fucking people watch this dipshit. Okay, great. Senate acquitted. Trump attorney rips off Mike after questioning from CBS and Anchor. Graham says Senate impeachment trial opened Pandora's box. Not Pandora's box in the sense that, like, now presidents have immunity in their lame duck sessions, or immunity as long as they fucking, I don't know, resign in time. But immunity, I assume, not immunity, but I assume he means Pandora's box in the sense that, like, now everyone's going to try to impeach everyone for every little thing.
But it was still well short of the 67 votes needed to find him guilty. In a moment, we'll speak with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who was in the center of the action. But first, let's bring in David Spunt on Capitol Hill on the trial's surprising final day. David.
Hi, Chris. As expected, Democrats voted unanimously to convict, but they needed 17 Republicans to join.
We have no power to convict and disqualify a former office holder who is now a private citizen.
While Senate might...
That's the precedent, by the way. That is the dangerous precedent. That is actually what is insane about this, is that, like, there are no political repercussions for someone as long as they fucking resign. And that's an insane thing to say. Oh, all right, never mind then, dude.
Minority Leader Mitch McConnell voted to acquit the former president. 7 Republicans voted to convict. North Carolina Senator Richard Burr, who is retiring next year, surprised colleagues with his vote to convict on the lone article, incitement of insurrection. Donald Trump's fate almost hung in the balance another few weeks after a floor fight erupted over live witnesses.
We would seek the opportunity to take their depositions via Zoom, also for less than an hour.
None of these depositions should be done by Zoom. These depositions should be done in person, in my office, in Philadelphia. That's where they should be done.
But in the end, both sides agreed, no witnesses. Next, closing arguments.
He abused his office by siding with the insurrectionists at almost every point. Rather than
now that we've abused the kindergarten style no you defense, we should just start, we should start getting Republicans to utilize other childish fucking defenses too, like the 5-second rule, for example. Just say, oh well, he did a take back 5 seconds in, or the no takebacks rule. That's another one that we can use. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry, there's no takebacks. Tag, you're it. He who smelt it dealt it. Exactly. I know you are, but what am I? That's a really good one too.
than with the Congress of the United States.
The former president's attorneys defended their client without wavering.
This has been perhaps the most unfair and flagrantly unconstitutional proceeding in the history of the United States Senate.
Chris, former President Donald Trump out with a statement from Florida last night. I want to read part of it to you. He says, "I have always and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement."
Except for when they're getting murdered by my, super fans in an insurrection that I caused, that I still supported while it was happening. And, only said they're bad after I was banned from Twitter in an effort to get my fucking Twitter account back. They are stands, dude.
And the right of Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate. Meanwhile, the current president, President Biden, out with a statement condemning violence, saying the United States needs to move forward, underlining the word united in United States. Chris?
David Spunt reporting from Capitol Hill. David, thank you. And joining us now, Republican.
You have TDS, dude, law. There's nothing more deranged than thinking I have, Trump derangement syndrome after Donald Trump is no longer in office. It's one of the most boomer, pathetic fucking counters. You're talking about the president? You're talking about the past president? That must mean you're obsessed with him. Yeah, fucking great defense, dude. Fucking great defense, you gigantic fucking loser. You insane, pathetic fucking loser. Your existence on this planet is so fucking meaningless. Holy shit. He was the fucking president, and we're talking about an impeachment trial of a president that got double impeached in his own fucking 4-year tenure.
Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Senator, let me ask you, have you spoken to President Trump since the acquittal yesterday? And if so, what was his reaction?
Yeah, I spoke to him last night. He was grateful to his lawyers. He appreciated the help that all of us provided. He's ready to move on and rebuild the Republican Party. He's excited about 2022, and I'm going to go down to talk with him next week, play a little golf in Florida. And I said, Mr. President, this MAGA movement needs to continue. We need to unite the party. Trump plus is the way back in 2022.
Fucking called it, because the Republican Party is Donald Trump's party, and Donald Trump is the Republican Party. Sorry, that's just the way it is. And anyone who tries to fucking tell you otherwise is either delusional or a liar.
He's mad at
Why
some
not
folks,
both?
but I understand that. My goal is to win in 2022 to stop the most radical agenda I've seen coming out of the Democratic presidency of Joe Biden. We can't do that without Donald Trump, so he's ready to hit the trail, and I'm ready to work with him.
Well, let me ask you about one person that he might be mad at, and tell me if he is or he isn't. Mitch McConnell, who made a curious speech yesterday in which he basically said the president is guilty, but that the Senate doesn't have the power to convict, to act against a former president. What did he think of McConnell's speech? What did you think of McConnell's speech?
Well, number one, I was a bit surprised, but I heard this in 1998. I've been in 3 of the 4 impeachments. I'm sorry about that, but the bottom line, in 1998, you had a lot of Democrats acquit Clinton, but got on the floor and said how bad he was. So, you know, Nancy Pelosi called us all cowards. I don't think most Republicans care what she thinks. And I think Senator McConnell's speech, he got a load off his chest, obviously. But unfortunately, he put a load on the back of Republicans. That speech you will see in 2022 campaigns. I would imagine if you're a Republican running in Arizona or Georgia.
Like, the only thing that this does is maybe drive a wedge, like a baby wedge within the Republican Party. And it's not really that big of a fucking wedge ultimately, because they're all crooks that are going to support whoever the fuck is the most radical person who's able to solidify the base of support. And that person is Donald Trump. Okay? Donald Trump operates on the same principle that these like alt-right rabbit holes and pipelines work on YouTube, okay? The more crazy you are, the more attention you can get to your rhetoric. And the more attention you can get to your rhetoric means the larger your fucking audience is going to be. That's it. Those are voters.
Georgia or New Hampshire, where we have a chance to take back the Senate, they may be playing Senator McConnell's speech and asking you about it as a candidate. And I imagine if you're an incumbent Republican, there are going to be people asking you, will you support Senator McConnell in the future? So I like him, Senator McConnell. He worked well with President Trump. I think his speech is an outlier regarding how Republicans feel about all this. I thought the impeachment trial was not only unconstitutional, I condemn what happened on January the 6th, but the process they used to impeach.
When you say the impeachment trial was unconstitutional, but I condemn what happened on January 6th, you're basically saying that you shouldn't impeach someone for inciting an insurrection. Like, that's all you're fucking saying. That's it. And that's precisely what Mitch McConnell did. He literally was like, yeah, what Donald Trump did was pretty fucking bad. But also, I'm going to delay this trial in the Senate. And then after I delay the trial, I'm going to turn around and say, sorry, this is unconstitutional. With when you could have impeached, like the window for impeaching Donald Trump is now gone. That was not something that there was precedent for. As a matter of fact, the opposite precedent existed. And now, you know, now here we are.
This president was an affront to rule of law. He's the first president to ever be impeached without a lawyer, without a witness, without an ability to confront those against him. And the trial record was a complete joke, hearsay upon hearsay. And we've opened Pandora's box to future presidents. And if you use this model, I don't know how Kamala Harris doesn't get impeached if the Republicans take over the House, because she actually bailed out rioters, and one of the rioters went back to the streets and broke somebody's head open.
Okay, I love that. Again, it's like the fucking gray name morons in my chat. You're inciting riots as a Democrat, so you should be impeached, but Donald Trump should not have been impeached for inciting riots as a Republican. It's the fucking no you argument that still literally fucking admits that, like, you as a person with a bully from the bully pulpit have a lot of influence and a lot of power over your followers. It's fucking awesome. It's so awesome. But when we do it, it's not bad. But when they do it, which, by the way, I haven't proven that they've done it yet, but, you know, I think that they have done it, and, you know, we should follow through on that. It's great. fuck it, dude. I mean, it's great. It's awesome. Fuck this. Like, it's great. Maybe the Democrats can say, oh, well, you know, we didn't impeach Donald Trump, so you can't impeach Kamala Harris. And then Republicans will be like, that doesn't matter. That's an irrelevant trial. That's irrelevant to the matter at hand.
So we've opened Pandora's box here, and I'm sad for the country.
Does Donald Trump bear any responsibility for the attack on the Capitol on January 6th?
No. In terms of the law, no. He bears responsibility.
Yeah, again, I was right. The Pandora's box isn't that, like, now presidents have fucking full power to do whatever the fuck they want as long as they resign. But the real Pandora's box is that, like, everyone's going to get impeached for minor offenses now. Great.
Of pushing narratives about the election that I think are not sound and not true. But
I can't wait for there to be an actual legitimate impeachment trial against, like, Kamala Harris or some shit, and then Lindsey Graham literally just eats those exact same words that he just had, just like he ate the words when he was like, yeah, I'm not going to appoint a Supreme Court justice no matter what happens if it's during the election cycle. Remember how he said that? And everyone was like, maybe he won't do it. And I was like, no, of course he's going to fucking do it because he's a liar. This is what Republicans do all the time. Democrats do it too. But, like, Republicans, this is what they do. Stop taking them fucking seriously. Stop taking their words as though they are serious. Okay? He's going to, if there was a circumstance where, like, they actually set up impeachment proceedings for Kamala Harris, Lindsey Graham would 100% be like, no, this is very different this time around. We have to impeach Kamala Harris. We have to. It's very different than the Donald Trump circumstance. It is so much worse. This is actually bad long term. Seems like Republicans are playing the short game and fracturing their support. Yeah, no, it's bullshit. Is it bad long term? Everything that happens is bad long term.
This was politically protected speech. The speech on January the 6th was not an incitement to violence. Every politician has used the word fight hard. So I don't think...
I'm sorry. You guys don't understand. Like, you guys don't understand. Having that speech specifically on that day and building up specifically to that day, none of that is none of that is an incitement for an insurrection. Okay, these people just totally personally decided to do this on their own. They just happened to get together randomly on that day specifically. Donald Trump had nothing to do with it. And you know, walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, like all of that stuff, completely just random. These guys all randomly got together. Haha, they're just weirdly, what a weird coincidence that happened. So weird, so strange.
He caused the riot. His behavior after the election was over the top. There was a pre-planned element to this attack, Mr. Wallace, that we need to look at. Did Nancy Pelosi know on January the 5th that there was a threat to the Capitol? What did President Trump do after the attack? We need a 9/11 commission to find out what happened, to make sure it never happens again. And I want to make sure that the Capitol footprint can be better defended next time. So I want to look at what Pelosi knew when she knew it, what President Trump did after that.
We should actually impeach Nancy Pelosi for playing a role in these riots by not defending the Capitol with a machine gun in hand. I think the real person responsible for this insurrection was Nancy Pelosi. Why was she not dual wielding machine guns shooting down the hogs that were coming in, which were Antifa, by the way? It's because they were Antifa and she knew, and she's also Antifa. We need to impeach Nancy Pelosi.
The attack. And
what does she know? What does she know about the insurrection? Is this like they were asking for it? Is this that they were asking for it with how they were dressed defense or something? Like, what did Nancy Pelosi know? What did she know? She's the real person. She's the real person who needs to be on trial, not Donald Trump.
Senate side was Senate leadership informed of a threat. So there was a pre-planned element to this attack, totally unconnected with the speech. And I thought the managers failed miserably in making the case.
Let's pick up on something that you specifically talked about. Let's look at the timeline.
Oh, here is impeachment manager Lindsey Graham in 1999. Okay, are you ready for this? Which is why I say, like, these guys are fucking liars. Okay, and you should never take them seriously.
Let it be said that any president who cheats our institutions shall be impeached.
Because impeachment is not about punishment. Impeachment is about cleansing the office. Impeachment is about restoring honor and integrity to the office. When you start using your office and you're acting in a way that hurts people, you've committed a high crime.
Let it be.
That's crazy, dude. This is wild, dude. It's so wild. Remember when Lindsey Graham legitimately cried because Joe Biden was such a good friend?
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do.
God, I hate him so. I can't even watch this, dude. It's just he just sucks so bad. How did he age so bad? Well, being a fucking actual literal James Bond style villain in the form of being a Republican senator does. I mean, a congressperson does that to you. Okay. Ted Cruz even more gross. We're still pointing out hypocrisy in 2020 law.
Of what happened that day, especially after the riot began.
I gotta pee.
At 2:24, the president tweets, Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution. 2 minutes later, at 2:26, the president speaks to Senator Tommy Tuberville, who tells him Vice President Pence has been evacuated from the Senate. Around that time, the House Republican leader, Kevin McCarthy, calls the president, pleading with him to do whatever he can to call off the rioters. When the president says he thinks that it was actually Antifa that was involved, McCarthy told Republican Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler that he had to persuade the president it was his own folks who did it. Take a look at this exchange.
These are your people. You know, they got MAGA hats on. And the president's response to him was, well, Kevin, I guess they're just more concerned about this election than you are.
What does that tell you, Senator, about how the president viewed the riot while it was happening?
Doesn't tell me a whole lot because it's all hearsay. Why don't we have a 9/11 investigation? I think it's at 2:28 he told people to be peaceful. He tweeted out several times at 4 o'clock he did a video basically to be peaceful and leave. Could the president done more? Yeah. Did he incite this riot by his speech? Absolutely not. If Donald Trump's speech is going to be seen as incitement by a politician to call violence, about every Democrat and Republican up here is in trouble. But I'd like to know that. I'd like to know, did the Capitol Hill Police inform the House Sergeant at Arms and the Senate Sergeant at Arms the day before the attack that they needed more troops? So I want to look at all of it.
Senator, I want to just pick up on that because and the question of the president's personal responsibility, whether it was legal or not, whether his personal responsibility. Here's what you said on January 7th, the day after the riot.
It breaks my heart that my friend, a president of a consequence, would allow yesterday to happen. And it will be a major part of his presidency. When it comes to accountability, the president needs to understand that his actions were the problem, not the solution.
His actions were the problem, allowed the riot to happen. It sure sounds like you're saying that he violated his oath of office.
No, I think what he did is he encouraged supporters throughout the country to fight like hell, to take...
How do you get fucking rolled by Chris Wallace, dude? So, how do you come back from that? Let's see. Let's take a look. Well, it's not. No. He wasn't violating his oath of office, dude.
Back in an election that he thought was stolen. A lot of politicians have said that. On January the 7th, he wasn't impeached. The guy was impeached within 48 hours. He didn't have a lawyer. No.
Wait, that's not even an answer. Like, that's literally not even a fucking answer. That is not... That's not answering the question that he addressed, which was, do you think that he violated his oath of office? Because it sounds like you believe that he violated his oath of office by saying...
Evidence gathered. The speech of January the 6th is politically protected speech, in my view, did not cause the riot. It doesn't represent the 74 million people who supported him. This will be part of his historical record of the Trump presidency. But Democrats, because they hate his guts, wanted to impeach him before they ever met him, have now started a process that you can impeach somebody in the House within 48 hours without a lawyer, without a witness, without the ability to cross-examine those against you, and have a trial record based upon articles from the media. This thing is turning into a nightmare for the presidency. I rejected the article of impeachment. I didn't think President Trump was guilty, and you have now opened up.
Guys, you don't understand. I'm telling you, this all happened completely randomly. Like, a bunch of friends just got together and decided to, decided to take over Congress and stop a congressional process that was taking place. It was completely unrelated to Donald Trump telling them to do that over and over again, including in the event that him and his followers put together specifically on that day. Who's to say that this bank wasn't going to be robbed, Your Honor? Who's to say that this bank wasn't going to be robbed on this day or on any other day, as a matter of fact? Just because I planned the bank robbery does not mean I said literally go out and do the bank robbery. Your Honor, I am completely innocent. Okay? Oh, yes, while during the bank robbery, I also sent out tweets in support saying hey, boys, you're doing a great job. I love you. Hugs and kisses for all of you. But that was completely unrelated to the bank robbery that may or may not have taken place. This insurrection, if you could call it that, was completely spontaneous. Okay? Completely spontaneous. It's just, crazy things happen every day.
Pandora's box. As to Senator McConnell, he is a friend, but he's going to be center stage now in the 2022 effort to take back the Senate. I've been asked by a lot of people, Chris, calm President Trump down. Talk to him, get him to calm down. Sometimes he does and sometimes he doesn't. But to my Republican colleagues, this is a two-way street.
Okay, I'm done. I can't watch this idiot any longer. Okay, this is so... SNL mocks Republicans hours after second Trump acquittal.
Welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm your host and human White Claw, Tucker Carlson.
The Saturday Night Live cold open on February 13th imagined an episode of Tucker Carlson Tonight, just hours after the Senate acquitted Trump for a second time. The Fox News host, played by...
Wait, did we find somehow a better way to make the SNL stuff worse than it actually is by describing it in a monotone format?
Cast member Alex Moffat first interviewed Senator Lindsey Graham, played by Kate McKinnon. Graham praised...
Holy shit, that's convincing. What the fuck? Him and White Claw.
Trump.
I just don't understand why everyone still insists on taking Donald Trump down. He is smart. He is nice. He's in shape. Everybody's saying he attempted a coup. He didn't attempt a coup. He is coup.
Soon, A.D. Bryant joined Graham as fellow Republican Senator Ted Cruz.
Like any impartial juror, we took it upon ourselves to meet with the defense lawyers to give them some very simple legal advice. Stop and don't.
While on the topic of Trump's defense team, Carlson looked back at scenes from the trial. Trump attorney Bruce Castor was played by SNL's Mikey Day.
As you all know, I'm the lead prosecutor. Nope, sorry, I'm the counsel. I know the difference. But as Trump's bailiff, nope, not right either. Bridesmaid, nope, sorry, I need a second.
Castor left many people scratching their heads after his rambling at the trial's open.
I was struck.
This is somehow worse than watching the segment. Actually, I lied. Nothing is worse than watching the segment itself.
Davidson played Trump lawyer Michael Vanderveen.
Now the House wants to bring up witnesses over Zoom? Zoom?
Okay. The reality is way funnier, and they did it again. And they did it where the fucking jokes are worse than the reality because the reality was too crazy. Oh, we got to talk about Governor Cuomo.
This morning-
Hey! Speaking of fucking anti-Italiaphobia over here. Speaking of fucking Italiaphobia, Governor fucking Cuomo's on fire for the nursing home scandal. Hey. Just because he fucking told all those old people, you know, hey, you just gobbled your last fucking ghoul over here. You're gonna fucking act like my man is fucking guilty, huh? Maron, I'm sick and tired of this dude. I wrote a fucking book over here. Hey, I'm mismanaging the COVID case over here while I'm writing a fucking book. Where's my fucking daytime Emmy? Forget about it. Forget about it.
Growing fallout for New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and his administration over withholding COVID death toll numbers in nursing homes. His top aide, Melissa DeRosa, telling Democratic lawmakers this week on a private call, "We froze," concerned that the information was going to be used against us after receiving a request from the Department of Justice last year. Those comments, first reported by the New York Post, sparked immediate backlash among lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. Democratic State Senator Andrew Gennardez tweeting, "This is a betrayal of the public trust." Republican Congressman Tom Reed says he's filing a criminal complaint against Cuomo's aide.
She needs to be arrested.
Responding to the criticism, DeRosa released a statement clarifying her remarks. "We needed to temporarily set aside the legislature's request to deal with the federal request first. We informed the houses of this at the time. We were comprehensive and transparent in our responses to the DOJ and then had to immediately focus our resources on the second wave and vaccine rollout. We could not fulfill their request as quickly as anyone would have liked." The growing scrutiny comes just weeks after New York Attorney General Letitia James released a report claiming the state had undercounted nursing home deaths by as much as 50%. State health officials acknowledged the death toll was more than 15,000, much higher than originally reported. On Friday, 14 Democratic states.
Hey, Your Honor. In my defense, I thought I could make them fucking disappear. All right? What? You know, I thought they could be sleeping with the fucking fishes over here, you know?
Senators called to repeal Cuomo's emergency powers in the pandemic, joining the Republican-led effort. Governor Cuomo defended his administration's actions in late January.
A third of all deaths in this nation are from nursing homes. New York State, we're only about 28% only. But we're below the national average in number of deaths in nursing homes.
Hey, it turns out that was because we were fucking lying about the numbers, dude. Hey, what are you going to do about it?
But who cares? 33, 28, died in a hospital, died in a nursing home. They died.
Often praised for his leadership early on in the pandemic, the governor is now coming under fire and tackling a new crisis. And Governor Cuomo was at the White House yesterday to...
The funniest part about this, which is otherwise like a really dark story, but at this point it's like gallows humor because, you know, dealing with American politics is about dealing with death, is the fact that Republicans are like very upset about Cuomo. And to some degree it's understandable because liberals praised him as a fucking hero after everything. But Republicans have done exactly the same shit. So the same people that are like, oh, we need to literally murder Cuomo now, we need to throw him in fucking jail, are like completely avoiding the shit that DeSantis is still doing. Do you understand? Like, look at the state of fucking Florida.
Discuss COVID relief with other governors and mayors.
And by the way, for the record, I think fuck Andrew Cuomo, 100%. Do not misunderstand me. I think it was also despicable that like Chris Cuomo would have him on to talk about, you know, their Sunday night pasta dinners together. You know, oh, you know, I love my mother. I love you. And I love my mother. I love you. Like, really? That's fair and balanced reporting? That's what you're going to do? You're going to have fucking your brother come on so you can, you know, talk to him and fuck around? It's really fucked up.
And while in Washington, he did not address the ongoing controversy here in New York.
Chris almost never has Andrew on, only a couple times. Yeah, at the peak of fucking COVID, he had him on while all of this was going on behind the scenes. DeSantis is letting people kill themselves is different. He's double binding them too by purposely making unemployment as hard as possible to get unemployment insurance as hard as possible to get. Literally admitting that, by the way, so that like even if you're healthy but you were unemployed or you were fired from your job or you